Hey guys, this is Ganesh Pujari, and in this session, let us try understand the higher pension scheme structurally. Yes, there are a lot of questions among the employees, employers as well as HRs. So here is my HR hand note for higher pension scheme. While preparing this content, I have referred the Employees Pension Scheme 1995. Along with that, I have referred two important judgment from Supreme Court on R.C. Gupta's case as well as Sunil Kumar's case, and there are multiple notifications, circulars issued by EPFO. Those are being referred. Without taking much of your time, let's get into the first slide. As we all know, we have wage ceilings for acts like Bonus Act, Employee State Insurance Acts, etc. and Provident Fund Act is one among them. The Provident Fund wage ceiling has changed on time to time basis from 5,000 rupees to 6,500 and then 6,500 rupees to 15,000 in the year 2014. The next question is, how was PF calculated? Here the traditional method of calculating PF was very easy or known to all the people. 12% of the employee contribution would directly go and sit in the PF account, that is Employee Provident Fund account, and from the employer contribution 3.67% was sitting in EPF account and make total of 15.67% in PF account, with employees 12% and employers 3.67%. The remaining 8.33% of employer contribution was sitting in EPS, that is Employee Pension Scheme account. The calculation was super easy if contribution was on or below the PF ceiling wages. However, things would become little tricky if PF paid on more than ceiling wages. In that case, 12% of employee contribution was anyhow sitting in EPF account, but while calculating the employer contribution, first 8.33% of the ceiling wages was calculated and contributed to the EPS account, that is Employee Pension Scheme account, and the remaining entire amount was going and sitting in the EPF account with employee contribution. So basically it was much more than 3.67%. Everyone had clarity of this calculation method, and then comes the amendment with effect from 1st September 2014. Interestingly, the amendment came up with section 11.4, and whatever higher pension was spoken in 11.4 of Amendment Act was not completely new. It was already there as a proviso under section 11.3 of the Act before the amendment itself. But it didn't catch our eyeballs, maybe because it was just a proviso, or maybe less information among the community, as internet was not like what we have today. Information would flow very slow, unlike today's scenario. Coming back to the calculation, I have given here an illustration of what happens when PF wages is more than PF ceiling wages and employer decides to give PF on such wages. In the first case, I have given traditional calculation method where 12% of employee provident fund wages, that is 12% of 20,000, will go and sit in the EPF account, and the amount is rupees 2,400. Then 8.33% of the PF ceiling wages calculated to arrive employer's pension contribution, and the amount comes to 15,000 rupees into 8.33%, that is 1,250 rupees. Now out of employer's 12%, that is out of rupees 2,400, 1,250 has gone to employee pension scheme, and the remaining 1,151 will go and sit in the EPF account along with the employee contribution of 2,400. But if an employee chooses for higher pension, in that case the calculation becomes too easy. From employee contribution, 12% would anyhow go and sit in the EPF account, and another 3.67% of employer contribution would also go and sit in the EPF account, and overall it becomes 15.67%. As far as EPS is concerned, 8.33% of PF wages would directly go and sit in the pension scheme, I hope you are seeing the big difference there. Earlier, EPF account was fat, whereas now that has weakened and your pension account is becoming strong. That's quite a lot of explanation to have clear understanding related to PF. Now let's move on and understand who can opt for higher pension. To opt for higher pension, one has to pass a litmus test. There are 4 factors we need to consider to decide whether an employee is eligible for opting for higher pension scheme or not. What are those 4 factors? The first one is when was the contribution made or the status of the timeline of such employee's working period. The second one is what is the wages considered for PF calculation. Thirdly, it's all about employee's mind to go for higher pension. If employee doesn't have the intention, then there is nothing for discussion. And lastly, the status of joint application by employee and employer for higher pension. On the basis of these 4 factors, we can conclude as to one is eligible for higher pension or not. To understand the same with more clarity, let's get into my next slide. I have brought 9 different scenarios using the 4 factors that we have discussed in my previous slide. In the first case, employee has retired before the Amendment Act, that is 1st September 2014, and no joint application made for higher pension. Though the EPF wages was above ceiling and even if employee is interested, now joint application can't be made and hence not eligible for higher pension. In the second case, employee retired before 1st September 2014. His salary considered for PF calculation was more than the ceiling wages and he was interested in higher pension and also made joint application for higher pension. And in that case, he is eligible for higher pension scheme. Anyone joining on or after 1st September 2014 are not eligible for the scheme, which is the third case. In the fourth case, employee joined before Amendment Act and retired before 4th November 2022, that is the judgment day, are also not eligible for higher pension scheme if the EPF salary itself was below the ceiling wages. In the fifth case, employee joined before Amendment Act and retired before judgment day and the wages are above the ceiling wages, but employee is not interested for higher pension and hence not made any joint application. In such case, when he himself is not interested, let's just move on. But in the same case, if employee is interested to go for higher pension and want to make a joint application before the 3rd May of 2023, then he is eligible, which is our 6th case. If an employee joined before the Amendment Act and still in service, but his EPF salary is below the ceiling wages, in that case also there is no question of opting for higher wages as per the 7th case. In the 8th case, employee joined before amendment and still in service and has higher PF salary but not interested in higher pension and hence not making any application will also not eligible. The 9th and last case, employee joined before Amendment Act and still in service and has higher PF salary and interested to go for higher pension and hence will make a joint application before 3rd May 2023 is also eligible to go for higher pension. In a nutshell, under scenario 2, 6 and 9, an employee is eligible to go for higher pension scheme. But remember, making joint application before 3rd May 2023 is very important. To simplify these scenarios, let us go to the next slide. Here it is. People retired on or before 31st August 2014 without any application are not eligible. People joined on or after 1st September 2014 are also not eligible. People joined before 1st September 2014 and retired before the Amendment Act are eligible only if in case they have submitted joint applications already, and it doesn't matter even if no action was taken by PF authorities or it has been rejected already. They are still eligible, and all those employees who have joined service before Amendment Act and are retired from service on or after 1st September 2014 or still working can make application for higher pension before 3rd May 2023. I don't think I need to again repeat that all this comes into picture only when the PF wages is higher than the PF ceiling wages. Now let's see some quick simulations as how high pension scheme helps after your retirement. Here are the simulations. I hope you guys know the pension calculation rule. Pension calculation rule is given under section 12(2) of the Employee Pension Scheme 1995, and as per the rule, monthly members' pension is equal to pensionable salary into pensionable service divided by 70. Accordingly, in the simulation, if pension is calculated considering the full ceiling wages as the last 5 years pensionable salary results at 7,500, 6,429 and 5,357 monthly pension for the service of 35 years, 30 years and 25 years respectively. On the other hand, if opted for higher pension and the average salary considered for EPF calculation for last 5 years are 1 lakh, and if service was 35 years, then pension per month is rupees 50,000. If such average salary was 75,000 and service was 30 years, then pension per month would be 32,143, and if average PF salary was 50,000 rupees and if the service was 25 years, then the pension would be 17,857 rupees. I hope the difference between opting and not opting is quite visible. I don't want to do any further interpretation, and that takes us to the 3 quick questions. Let's see what are those 3 what if questions in my next slide. 3 quick what if questions, and the first one is, what if an eligible employee doesn't want to opt for higher pension? And the answer is nothing. Current practice continues for such employee. Second question is, what is the benefit of opting higher pension scheme? Oh well, as shown in the previous slide, you will get better pension amount by opting for the same. Third and the last question, what is the negative impact of opting higher pension scheme? And the answer is, you will see severe reduction in PF amount while you are withdrawing the same, as the 8.33% of employer contribution will be sitting directly in pension fund, unlike the current practice. While I said that was the last question, I would like to say that won't be the last question. Things are still evolving, and I hope we get more and more clarity in the days to come, and I shall try my best to keep you guys posted on the same. With that, I am handing over this presentation to Nishan.
I hope the puzzle is solved. With that, we're concluding this session. Please subscribe our channel. Please like, share and comment our videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.